scrapbooks. Welcome to Katie Phillips Scrapbook Designs. I'm Katie, and today we're going to continue working on fins 2 and 3 in the Hello Again album. However, today we are still not going to be cutting into any of the pattern papers, so let me just set this aside. We're going to start with fin number 3, and for fin number 3 we have a page that is 5.5 inches wide by 5 inches tall. We've got one page that is 6 inches wide by 3.5 inches tall, one page that is 7 inches wide by 2.5 inches tall, and one page that is 6.5 by 6. This is the 5.5 by 5 is 110 pound cardstock, and this is a photo mat, so we're going to set this aside. I wonder if this punch will work on it. Fingers crossed, because I used it on a 65. Yay! Okay, not all of my punches will work on 110 pound cardstock, so I'm glad that this one did. We are going to ink the edges of this with fossilized amber distress oxide, because that is a running theme in this album. And we're going to make sure and get the back side as well. And we're going to set this aside. The 6 by 3.5. We are going to score this at, we're going to score the 3.5 inch side at 1/2 inch. So let's grab the scoreboard. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm not going to score at 1/2 inch. I'm going to score this at 3 inches. That way, if there's anything that's off with the cutting, or if the act of scoring it causes the measurements to be a little weird, we have a 3 inch flap. We just might have a slightly shorter than 1/2 inch tab. So set that aside. The 7 inch by 2.5 inch. This is going to be a pocket. So we're going to score the 2.5 inch side at 2 inches. And we're going to score the 7 inch side at 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to fold this under. And then I'm going to put the folded edge up against this, this zero line right here. And I'm going to score at 6 inches. So now we know for certain that the pocket is 6 inches wide. And then the 6 by 6, or the 6.5 by 6, we are going to score the 6.5 inch side at 6 inches. For the pocket, we're going to taper the open edges here and here. And I'm going to do a shallow miter on the corners. There and there. Yeah, before I glue anything down, I do want to do a dry fit just to make sure it's not going to overlap anything. So here is one of our base pages, and that's going to fit perfectly. So I'm going to glue the bottom tab to the back of the two side tabs. That will just create less opportunities for the insert to get caught on stuff, because you know they're really good at getting caught on stuff. I'm gonna set that aside to let it dry, and I'm gonna ink everything, all the edges, and I'm gonna put you guys on fast forward. Time to assemble the pieces for page number 3. And we're going to start by getting the cap off the glue. All right, we're going to start by gluing the pocket down. And the pocket goes on the bottom of the base page. And if you want to see the construction of the base pages, be sure and check out the previous video that I released for this album. I'll link it up here somewhere. We did all the base pages and fin number 1 in the last video. Oops, you know what? I'm glad I used glue because that is not what goes there. In fact, nothing goes there, so we're going to set that aside to dry for a little bit. And in fact, we should have another base page laying around here that I can use. What we actually want to glue down, we want to glue down this flap. Make sure I get the right side here. We're going to glue the flaps down first before we glue the pocket down. So we're going to glue this flap to the free edge here. Burnish that down to get rid of any bubbles. And we're going to glue this flap to the top of the base page. And this is why I tapered the edges of these tabs, just to eliminate some of that bulk. And we want to make sure that we're going to be able to close that flap and that flap at the same time. Yep, that looks good. Now, we are going to glue the pocket to the outside of this flap here. And all of this is held closed by the photo mat. Okay, it's going to take me 3 days to film this video. This is actually the next day from when I filmed page number 3, and we're going to move on to page number 4 now. You know what? Life happens, and that's just the way that things go. So for page number 4, we've got one band that is 7 inches wide by 1.5 inches tall. And it is a 65-pound cardstock. We have one piece of 110-pound cardstock that is 5 by 5. And I'm going to punch the corners here to round them because this is a photo mat. And then we have one piece that is 65 pound and it is 5.5 by 5.5. And we have 6 pieces that are 5.5 by 3.5, and these are going to be a waterfall. First, we're going to take the piece that's 7 by 1.5 inches. We are going to score at 1.5 inches, or sorry, 1/2 inch. Then we're going to fold that under and align the folded up side with the 0 mark and score at 6 inches. Now we're going to take the waterfall pieces. These are 5.5 by 3.5. We're going to score the 3.5 inch side at 3 inches. Okay, we've inked all the edges front and back and even rounded the corners on the waterfall and on the 5.5 by 5.5 piece. The first thing that we are going to do is we're going to mount this band horizontally on the base page. And I'm just eyeballing about 1 inch from the top. Now we're going to take the waterfall pieces and we are going to glue them down sequentially on top of the piece that's 5.5 by 5.5. So we actually only needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flaps. So we'll set this aside. We can probably use it somewhere else in this album. The last thing that we're going to do for this page before we glue it into the album is add magnets. The first magnet is going to go right here in the middle of this belly band. Take this waterfall piece and I'm going to hover over the top and try not to get into the frame and press down. And you know what? We're going to need another set of magnets to hold everything in place because that is going to fall right off. So let me grab 2 more magnets and we're going to put a magnet here and a magnet here. Alright, I ended up actually using a second magnet down here just because we're going to have some inserts probably come in between this magnet and this piece here, so I didn't want to use a tin cap there. I wanted to use something a little bit stronger. The last thing to do here is to add this into the album, and we're going to glue this in this direction. And now you can kind of see how the pages are laying a little bit flatter than they do in other pocket page albums. So let's get started on fin number 3, page number 5 for me. That's going to be tomorrow, and for you guys, that's going to be right now. And to start off with on this fin, we've got an unusual shaped pocket. We've done it before, but first, we've got a flap that is 6 5/8 by 6 inches. And we've got this piece, which we're going to cut into diagonal pockets, that is 6.5 by 6.5. So let's go ahead and cut this, and then we're going to score both of these pieces. So for this pocket, we're going to line the corners up with the blade and cut. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. The first score mark on this page is going to be at the 6 1/8 inch mark. So we're scoring along the 6 5/8 inch side. We're going to score at 6 1/8 and 6 inches. For the scoring, now these 2 pieces we are going to score at 1/2 inch on both of the shorter edges. To assemble the page, first we're going to glue this flap to the free edge of the base page, glue one onto the base page. So this pocket is going to go just inside the second score line on the base page. And we're going to align that with the binding here and the bottom of the page down here. And the second pocket is going to go over here, and we're going to align it with the free edge and the bottom of the flap. Here on to page number 6, and this is going to be the last page for this album. We have got a flap that is a 6 5/8 by 6 inches, and we are going to have some triangular shaped elements on here. And this piece is 6 1/2 by 6 1/2. So we're going to start off doing something very similar to what we did here, but the outcome is going to be pretty different. So again, the 6 5/8 inch piece, we're going to score this at 6 inches and 6 1/8 inch. This is also a flap, and we are going to score this at 6 inches. All right, the measurement for this piece is going to be 8 1/2 by 8 1/2. So since this is 8 1/2 by 11, we just need to make a cut at 8 1/2 inches. And then we are again going to cut diagonally. Hopefully this will fit in the trimmer. Yes. Just barely. So we're going to line the two corners up, and I know y'all can't see the bottom corner, but it is lined up with the blade. And we're going to score both of these along the long edge at 1/2 inch. All right, so we're going to score that at 1/2 inch. That is exactly 12 inches long, so we're going to be cutting off a good chunk of that. And again, we're going to score this at 1/2 inch. Before we go any farther, we're going to take these pieces and I'm going to line up the center. The center is at 6 inches there. So I'm going to line it up with 3 inches here. And flip that over, and now I'm going to line it up with I'm going to line this side up with 6 inches. And you know what? I'm going to make sure that it aligns with this 6 inch. I'm going to line this up with the 6 inch mark here. It's because my 6 inch mark up here is not quite accurate. And cut. And we're going to repeat that for the other side. Thank y'all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. I release new videos every Sunday and Wednesday. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment area down below. And if any of the products that I used in this video are available for sale in a first run retailer like Amazon or Michaels or scrapbook.com, I will link to that in the description box down below. Thank y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.